Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of A Mummer Story. Today, I have our first, how can we say it? Our first female mummer, and her name is Aubrey Roney from Furco String Band. Aubrey, how are you doing this morning?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just want to say I believe Furco did a very good job this year. Unfortunately, South Philly still a top. We got to knock them off somehow.
Yeah, yeah. We're trying to. We're trying to.
So Aubrey, tell us, how did you wind up getting introduced to mummery?
So my whole family is involved. It all started with my great grandfather, my dad's dad. He was in mummers for a while, and then my dad's dad was in mummers for a while. He was in Burmall. And then my mom's side of the family, my grandfather's involved with it now. He's still in Greater Kensington. So it's basically just a family tradition. I was grown into the hobby. And then when I was old enough to, I went up marshalling with Hageman. And then when I was old enough to play an instrument, I realized in school that I wanted to play saxophone. So I started saxophone in like fourth grade, third or fourth grade. And then I was like, well, now I can go from the back of the band, being a marshal, and go up a few lines to a member. So I joined Burmall playing saxophone. I was with them for a year. And then I went to Pensport. I was with them for about 2 years. And then I decided I wanted to kind of just move on. So then I joined Furco with my whole family, my mom, my brother, and my dad. And we've been in Furco now for over almost a year.
Oh wow! So you've been around with quite some bands. That's
Yeah,
pretty.
I was in Hageman for 8 years as a marshal, and then my family left, so then that's when I was able to play an instrument. And my dad went to. He said that whenever I decided to learn how to play an instrument, and if I joined a string band, he would join with me just to play like next to me or play in the string band with me. So that's when I joined Broomall, and then he went up with a band, and then he went up with Broomall with me, and it was just so much fun. It's I feel like it's a better hobby when you have your whole family with you rather than just doing it by yourself. Because my brother was in Greater Kensington when I was in Pensport, and it was very competitive in my house. Um, so I just feel like it's better when like you have the whole family, because mummers is a very family tradition, and so I love being able to be in the string bands with my family.
So how old were you when you first got involved?
I would have to say like 5. Like me actually knowing I'm in the mummers, I'd have to be 5. But I was born into it. I went to the shows with my family when I was a baby. Um, but I was in Hageman when I was 5.
Very cool. So you're still fairly young, I'm assuming. Were you probably in high school?
I am a freshman in high school. I'm 15 years old.
Oh wow! So you might be one of the youngest, not just mummers, but youngest female mummers. I'm assuming, correct?
Well, as of I'm the youngest female member in Furco, and I believe I am the youngest member in string bands. But there's a couple kids that are around my age.
Very cool. Very cool. So let me ask you this question: as a female coming into mummery, because I don't know, I don't have the exact dates, but at one time, mummers was just an all male organization. So being a female, what's your perspective on being a mummer?
Well, I feel like mummers is it's fun. I feel like women and men have just as the same amount of talent as each other. No man is better than no woman. So, and being able to play in mummers, I just felt like it opened my eye up to a whole different perspective. Because when I was a marshal, I was like, oh, cool, I just push the props. But now being a playing member, standing next to a male, it like makes me feel good, especially because my dream was to be in a band like Furco. And when I found out when I went to their open house that they were accepting female, I automatically said to my dad when we got in the car, I think I want to come here. And my parents, being the supportive parents, they're like, okay. So when I joined, they joined. And Furco is the greatest string band you will ever. It's so family. Like I can tell you, I have like so many brothers and so many string band dads. Everybody looks out for you. And that was how it was in Broomall. And I feel like it's a different feeling with you being in a string band and you being a female, because I feel like all eyes are on you, especially when you joined a all male organization and you're one of like 4 females in the band. I feel like all eyes are on you to see what you can do. But for me, it doesn't really affect me, because no matter if you're watching me or you're not watching me, I'm still going to do my best and try my best to play my best. So, but I feel like joining Furco has really put a challenge on me, because they play different style music than I'm used to. So I just feel like Furco was a good fit for me, and I like challenging stuff. Like, I like to be able to set a challenge for myself, and then by the end of the Tuesday night rehearsal, meet that challenge. It just feels so good. So I feel like being a female it's different, but it's not like you get treated differently. You all get treated the same, no matter if you're a female, if you're a male, if you play, if you're a marshal. We're all just as important. So I feel like no matter what band you go to, every member will have your back in some way, which I feel is really cool. So
Yeah, very cool. So let me ask you this question. Of course, from the time you've been in the Mummers to now, when you first got into the string band side of it, I'm sure you were probably nervous as all heck. But so I'm sure you looked up to somebody, like you said, your grandfather, your dad, whatever. When you're getting ready to march in your very first string band, playing your instrument, what kind of advice was given to you?
well, if I have to be honest, the first bit of advice I was given to was my brother, and it was all a joke. And I think it was just like to scare me. And he was just like, "Well, don't look at the white lights, because if you look at the white lights, you'll forget your drill." But no, the one set of advice I believe it was from my dad. He just sat there and was just like, "It's just as if you were doing a parade throughout the year. There's nothing to worry about. Go out there. You know what you're doing. You know how to play the music. You know how to do your drill. Don't think anything of it. Because when you go into that judging area, that's going to be the fast 4.5 minutes of your life. Enjoy it. Do what you have to do. Don't worry about anything. Because at the end of the day, what you did, you're going to get the prize that you think you got, and that is worth what you did." Another motto for not just my family, but like it's play like a champion. Because when I first started, I played really quiet because I wasn't confident enough. But every New Year's night or New Year's Eve, when my family would do a toast at home, my dad would look at me and was like, "Just don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Just go out there, put on the show that you've been rehearsing for the past 6 months, do what you got to do, and then after you're done, go parade down Broad Street." Because I was so nervous. I used to be the point where like I would cry when I get in the judging area, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like, if I messed up, all eyes are on me. But I've since realized that it's all about fun. It's all fun. You go in there, you put on your show, you get out the judging area, and then the rest of the walk down Broad Street is just nothing but hooting and hollering and having fun and getting interactive with the crowd and taking pictures. So I feel like every time I go into the judging area, the motto that stays in my head is play like a champion. And I obviously I do that because it's in my head, and I feel like my family has all said that at one point to each other. So it's like a phrase that's been passed down. And also in Furco, we do have a sign at the bottom of our steps that before we walk out on New Year's morning, we hit it and it says play like a champion.
I'm going to throw a new question at all of my. So you realize there's a lot of people that watch these videos.
Yes.
Right. And I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to be a very hard tail at the top. I'm enjoying this. Very much enjoying this interview. You have so much energy about you. I think it's just great. But let me ask you this question. The night before New Year's Day, you know that tomorrow you're going to be playing and coming up Broad Street, whatever it is. Do you have a hard time sleeping at night before that next day?
No. To be honest, I feel like that's the best night's sleep I ever get. Because New Year's Eve day, I'm all jittery and I'm all nervous and stuff like that. But when I go to bed, I just go to bed with a cleared mind, an empty head. I just sit there and I just take like 2 deep breaths. I sit there, I say, I got this. I go to bed, and that's probably one of the best night sleeps I will ever get in my entire life.
Very cool.
Which is kind of weird because, like, I know my brother, he doesn't, it's still like excitement for him. So he still like doesn't know, he still doesn't sleep well. But I feel like now my confidence has gotten a little bit better and it's getting stronger. I feel like I just go to bed. I wake up the next morning. It does hit me when we leave to go, when we get on our buses New Year's morning. That's when it all hits me like, okay, kind of like nervous. But no, I feel like I sleep the best the night before. So
What would have been your best performance?
my best performance would have to be this year. Furco's 2022 parade was, we did like a Mummers Mardi Gras. That was so much fun. I mean, Pennsport, we did do Jesters, which that was fun, but I just felt like this year with Furco, it was the most amount of fun I could ever have. Between the costumes, the theme was all just like hooting and hollering and have fun. And then the walk down Broad Street just topped it off. We didn't even like, we played songs here and there, but like we were taking pictures with the crowd. We were hooting and hollering, having fun. So I feel like Furco 2022 was my best performance.
Did you have a least favorite performance? Something that, let's put it this way, something that you felt it was good, because trust me, all your guys' performances are good. I don't think I've actually seen a Mummers performance be totally bad. But what would have been maybe, you know what, we could have probably did this a little bit better, something like along that line.
So I don't really have a non-favorite. I feel like I have a least favorite for myself, which is one that I didn't do the best in, which I think I could have done better considering the fact of the band I was in and where I was and how the theme was supposed to go, was Brumall. I think that was 2019. We did the Golden Gala. That was my first year playing with a string band. So I wasn't the best at drilling. So I feel like I could have done better with like my enthusiasm and just doing the drill. I could have done better. I don't really think the band could have done better. I think the band did their part and put on a great show on New Year's Day. It's just now my part that I have to put on that same exact energy that they did, and I didn't do because I was like a nervous wreck. It was my first year. I didn't know like that many people in the band. So I feel like that wasn't a good performance just for myself. But I don't think there's a band out there that I have been in that the performance wasn't what we rehearsed 6 months in advance.
So let me ask you this question. I know sometimes you guys wear like maybe like a light costume where it's just I guess looks like a jacket and some pants. Sometimes you wear a back piece. As a young lady, how do you prepare yourself? Because some of these things have some weight to them.
Yes.
So during your practice and stuff, what do you do, or how would you prepare yourself to carry this costume up Broad Street? How do you prepare yourself?
I feel like the most preparing I get is when we do drill rehearsal. I mean, when we get fitted for our costume, I do know that it's heavy, but like I really don't prepare myself until dress rehearsal. When I do dress rehearsal, I put on that heavy suit and I learn how to drill with it for the first time. Is it a wreck? Yes. I will say this year for Furco was probably my most heaviest I've had to wear because the jacket was lined. So it was heavy and it had feathers and beads hanging from it. But I really don't have like a set way to prepare myself rather than like basically just dress rehearsal. I really just get the feel for it. Like when I put it on for the first time and I'm playing, I realize that, okay, well, this isn't as light as it was that I had in my mind. So now I just gotta relax and just do everything I have to do, but remember I still have weight on my back. So sometimes it becomes challenging depending on how heavy the suit is. This year wasn't as challenging because it was only the jacket that was heavy, but I was shocked because when we got into the judging area, it was like 60 degrees and it was so nice. So it was really hot in that suit, but yeah.
So how do your being young, being what, teenager, how do your friends, like, do they ask you questions, like your friends in high school, like, hey, what's it like being a mummer? and playing a band in front of all these people. And if they asked you, hey, how could I get involved? I mean, what do you explain to them?
So I do have about half of my friend group does ask me because I do mention it to them. I just like to put myself out there and be like, yo, I'm in the Mummers and my family's in the Mummers. And when I sit there, the faces that they make at me just makes me look like I have like 5 heads because they're like, wait, what is that? So a lot of my friends, ever since I've mentioned that to them, have now sat there and watched it and really got the feel of what a Mummers parade is with the string bands and the comics and the fancies. But basically, the only way I have to explain it is we're a bunch of people who we prepare ourselves all year round. We get these fancy costumes made. We put on a 4.5 minute show New Year's morning in front of judges in Philadelphia, and we have scenery with it. And then after that, we do another parade down Broad Street, and then we just get our prizes when we get back to the club. And it's a score of 1 to 15 or 14, however many bands are there. And they look at me like I'm crazy because of the word costume. When I say costume, they always think of like a Halloween costume. And I'm like, no, it's totally different from if you were to go out as a clown for Halloween than a clown Mummers costume. So I show them the pictures of me and they're just like fascinated. They're like, wait, you have time to do that? Wait, you can carry that? Because I don't know about me, but when I first like looked up to my dad and he was playing, because he played bass sax, he played the bighorn, and he was carrying heavy costumes, I would always look up to him and be like, I don't know how you do that. Carrying a 35-pound saxophone on top of a 35-pound suit, I just don't know how you do that. But now I finally like gotten my tips and tricks on how to like play and drill, and because I'm also in marching band, so my drilling aspects come from school. But every time I explain it to my friends, they just look at me like I have 5 different heads, and then I have to show them a picture and then really like get into an explanation, but it's not depth, just because I know that they don't really understand it. So yeah, I do have a lot of my friends do sit down and really want to know what I do. So I explain it to them, and a lot of them like want to come up. Like I have one of my best friends, Olivia. She wants to come up in Marshall. So I sit there and I'm like, okay, pick a Tuesday, pick a Sunday. I'll ask my band if you can come up, and we'll arrange for you to come over to Philadelphia, see what the tradition is like. And then some Sundays I would bring my friends and we'd go down 2nd Street for like Hat Day or Drunken Santa to really see not just one string band, but all of them go down 2nd Street. And they're all just like, oh my God, it's so cool. And I was like, yep, that's what my family and I are involved in. So
here we go. Good question for you. The band right before you is just finishing up. You guys are next to take center stage at the judging area. How much adrenaline is running through you?
A lot. I go from if we're like a block, 2 blocks away. I'm cool, calm, cool, collected. We get right where the starting line is, and my heart is just pumping. My blood is rushing. Like I feel like I just got this kick of energy. And so when I do that, I just sit there and I just look and I just calm down. But like you don't realize, and I know I keep saying this, you don't realize how fast it is. That 4.5 minutes of your life that you spend in front of the judging area is the fastest 4.5 minutes. So I feel like sometimes it's good adrenaline, sometimes it's not. Because if you're like performing and your performance is already at like the 4-minute level and your adrenaline is pumping, that just makes you want to do it faster. The faster you get, the harder it's going to be to do what you have to do in order to get your band to be like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. So, and then sometimes it's good because you're like, okay, well, I know I got this. I can do this. I just got to tell my body, calm down. Everything's fine. Just go in there, put your heart and soul in front of that judging area. And then when you leave, you can jump around and high five everyone. But before we got into the judging area this year with Furco, we fist bumped each other. We all sat there and we said, good luck. We hugged one another. We were like, we've got this. And that really helped me because not a lot of, like when I was in the previous bands, I would just fist bump my friend and be like, yo, you got this, come on, or my dad. But all the members were coming up to me. I was going up to other members like, okay, come on, you got this, you could do this, calm down, put everything on that line. When you walk out that judging area, you should feel amazing. And that's what we did. We walked out of that judging area and we felt amazing. So
Awesome.
the adrenaline is definitely there. Sometimes it's not as hype, but it's definitely there.
So let me ask you this question. A lot of guys, as I saw to the parade this year when they interviewed the captains, one guy had mentioned that it's just not about winning, it's also about performing. But for you, is it about performance or is it about winning? Or is it both?
I definitely have my competitive side. For me, I would not say it's about winning. Are we going to get there eventually? Definitely. Am I going to put just as much work in throughout the year to get us there? Of course. For me, it's just about the performance. Me being able to perform with my other brothers and sisters and my actual biological family is the icing on the cake. I never would have imagined me being able to be in the same string band like Furco with my dad, brother, and my mom. So I wouldn't say it's about winning at all. Like I said, are we going to get there eventually? Yes. Am I going to want to put myself out there and work just as hard to get to that level? Of course. And I will try to do that throughout the year. But I feel like we know what our band can handle. And I'm not going to put us in a situation where I'm going to say, okay, well, if you don't win, then I don't want to be in Mummers anymore, because that's not it. It's a family tradition. In my eyes, a prize is just a prize. It doesn't mean anything. Would I like to see Furco get first while I'm in the band and still young? Of course. But it's not like a do or die situation if we don't. Just marching up with my family just makes everything seem so real. Especially in a band like Furco.
Let me ask this question. The Bengals or the Rams?
I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Aubrey, I want to thank you for taking time out so quickly. Who was that? Your grandfather I spoke to this morning? Your dad, your niece, or your uncle?
That was my dad. That was my dad.
Dad, tell him I said thank you. It was an honor and a pleasure to have you. I absolutely, I got tongue tied. I absolutely loved your energy. Furco, you are an asset to the Mummers tradition. I wish you all the best of luck. I wish you the best of luck in high school. And I just want to thank you for coming on today and sharing your Mummer story.
All right. Thank you, John, for having me. Can I say something right quick?
Absolutely.
Get
him in here. Get him in here. Who's there with you?
Hello,
Get him in this camera.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Are you Dad?
I'm Dad.
Hey, Dad. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule today to interview our my daughter and everything like that. She has an incredible story and everything like that. We just wanted to put it out there. A lot of females in the 4 divisions and stuff like that all have the same type of story and everything like that. But I just felt that it would be, kind of beneficial for my daughter to put her out there and everything like that. That way it gives her a little bit more of exposure and everything like that. But what we'd like to say is we'd like to, like I said, thank you for giving your time up. And,
Yes,
we saw the other interviews and everything like that you've done. We also would like to give a shout out to her grandfather, which is Bob Lightfoot from Greater Kensington. He just celebrated his 85th birthday and over 60 years in Greater Kensington. He's also a former bass sax player like myself.
Yeah.
Her brother, Mike Jr., he's a bass sax player with Furco. And my wife, Karen, she's a marshal with Furco. And we couldn't be happier with Aubrey and everything like that by, pulling the tradition and keeping it going and everything like that. So, again, we'd like to thank you, John.
Yes.
Absolutely. You guys are absolutely, you have an amazing daughter there. She's going to do great things.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I need a favor from you guys. For all the people out there in YouTube world and all the kids in Breisberg, give a shout out to my YouTube channel.
Guys, if you ever have a chance, you got to check out John Levy. His YouTube channel is awesome. He does awesome things. He does great interviews and everything like that. If you ever have a chance to talk to him, please have a chance to talk to him. He has a great story behind him. So thanks again, John. You
guys take care, stay safe, and we will see you New Year's Day 2023.
We'll be there. We'll be there putting a smile on people's faces like we always do.
Thank you much. You guys take care.
Thank you.
Bye.